Yo, welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. My name's Chris Furlong. I am your host, and I'm super excited to be back here having the conversation with you. Episode 83 today, and today we are talking about mindset and how it unlocks the potential that you have, right? We all have amazing potential, and sometimes we need someone else to help us see that clearly, but sometimes we need to dig deep and really just pull it out and help us put it into action and put it into place. So that's what we're discussing today. So buckle up and let's dive in. So I don't know if you know this, but the best thing that we have, that we all have it, everyone has this, is choice. Now I understand some of the choices we're given are sometimes not always at the same playing field as everyone else, but we always have a choice. It's something so powerful, yet it can be so dangerous as well. The choice and power to choose and to make a decision if we do something or we do not. It's the choices we make that dictate our attitudes. It's the choices that we make that will dictate our perceptions, our reactions, and our actions. These are all choices that we get to own. We need to be accountable for them, and we need to be responsible for them as well. And it all comes from the mind. It all comes from the mindset that we live or have, right? And when we look for the positive or for the negative, we can make a moment what we want it to be. You know, how you will experience it, how you will remember it. Even though we have the ability to choose and decide, we can be so stubborn, lost, and confused. And we can sometimes make something that should be positive into the negative, or sometimes we have the power to make the negative into a positive. And that is due to mindset. And we all have it. We all have the ability to do it. It could be the mindset of your own capabilities. It could be the mindset of how you have always done things, because that's what you've always done. It could be the mindset of you do things because that's the way you were taught to do it. And it could be the mindset of you don't know what you don't know, right? There's lots of pros and cons to all this. And one thing that I've been challenged by is that, we can't always assume that because we have all the information up to this date, that we actually have all the information, or we have all the, knowledge to know that answer to something. Just because you've gone through your own experience doesn't mean you've got it all figured out. When we change our mindset for new things, we open our mind, obviously. It allows us to explore and enables us to be enabled as well. I love this quote. Henry Ford, I've been really thinking about this one over the last couple of weeks. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you've always got. And there's so many different versions of this, but it's so important. And I'm going to say it again. If you always do what you always did, you will always get what you always got. And this is why mindset unlocks potential, your potential. But we need to deal with, the objections before they become mindsets and limit us, right? Because sometimes we get so stuck on things or fixed on things that it, forces us not to be able to make any more progress because we get so stuck in a box, right? And that's really what we're going to dive into is, are you a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? And maybe you could be a bit of both. Maybe there's areas where we all need to improve on, and that's fine. That's good. We can't be perfect. And, these are all generalized that we're about to go through. We're going to walk through what a fixed mindset leads to and what a growth mindset leads to. But I want you to test yourself. I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to listen to this with an open mind because, you might learn something, or you might be challenged, or maybe it's not relevant, but have a listen anyway. So a fixed mindset leads to a tendency to avoid challenges. When faced with obstacles, fixed mindsets usually give up easily. When it comes to effort, it seems fruitless, or we make it worse. When it comes to constructive or negative feedback, we take it as criticism and we tend to ignore it. When it's with a fixed mindset, we feel threatened by success of others. Based on the above, as a result in pursuit of goals, we tend to, if we are a fixed mindset, to maybe plateau early, or we achieve less than what our full potential could be because things get too hard, or we give up, or we get pushed back, or we have doubt. And that's the fixed mindset. When it comes to a growth mindset, we tend to embrace new challenges. We tend to find persistence to push through, and we challenge, or we take those setbacks head on. We face them. A growth mindset also sees effort as a path to mastery, to be able to achieve something that, you can't get to somewhere without hard work. A growth mindset would always Also acknowledge feedback as a chance to pivot, a chance to learn, a chance to grow. And a growth mindset would also find lessons and inspiration in the success of others rather than, feeling threatened, but actually being encouraged and inspired. So based on the above, as a result, they will tend to reach even higher levels of achievement to what they possibly thought they could have done in the first place. So based on that, the quickest way to grow is to learn and to experience and to evolve that. Take what we learn, take what we know, and continue to, see how you can develop that. So let me ask you this. Do this little exercise for me. Once again, you need to do it with an open mind. Humor me. Let's do it together. A little exercise, just something to challenge us once again. Let's begin. Think of one thing which you would like to be doing or that you would like to achieve. Maybe it's a new level of income. Maybe it's the progression with fitness. Or maybe it's a better relationship with someone that you know or have. So think of one thing. Now you need to ask yourself, what does one thing look like when it is achieved? So let's say you want to be earning $10,000 a month. And if you're currently earning $5,000 a month, that means you need to double your income. You need to double the money coming in, which may mean you need to spend more time to make more money, or you need to be earning more money for the time that you spend. Or maybe you need to have more opportunities generating you money rather than your time for money. For instance, if you have one fishing net in the water, you can catch one fish. But if you have two fishing nets in the water, you can now possibly catch two fish at the same time. So same time, double the return. So basically, if you wanted to increase from $5,000 to $10,000, understanding what this looks like means you need to be earning an extra $1,153 every week, or basically $5,000 extra each month. So it's about $164 every day. So now that you have a perspective of what that gap looks like, I've just used this as an example, but for you, you would have had to go through the process. And if we continue this down, now it's to understand, how do you do it? What is required? What is required to fill that gap? We know that it's $164 a day, but if you already earn $164 a day for your time that you spend for that, then your time is bound. Thus, you either need more money for that time, or you will need to have something else working passively at the same time. We know this already. We just went through it. So if you're working for someone else, you know that your time spent for the money earned is creating more money for the one paying you than it is for you. Let me say that again. If you are working for someone else, you know that the time you're spending for the money earned is actually creating more money for the one that is paying you. That's usually the way it works. It should be anyway. So you can change the tables. You could flip this over. You can be leveraging someone else's time to make you more money. If it is a matter of you only getting X sales a day, like a certain amount of sales a day, and need to increase those sales, for instance, maybe you get 10 sales already and you just need to increase them to 20 sales a day, so you need to increase the value of those sales again. The other way you could look at that is, rather than getting sales, can you create something which is an add-on, which costs you no extra time? It might be a one-off cost, but then it's passive. An ebook or a course or some extra protection like insurance, upsell when you're trying to sell a product. Can you automate something which removes the time spent for you to earn and spend that time to create a new stream of revenue? Now, of course, this is all example and all hearsay, and it's going to be different to each and every single one of you, and it will be dependent on what you're trying to achieve. But what I'm trying to help you understand is that you need to dive deeper, look at the different options. How can you think outside of the box to actually fill that gap? Because once you understand what the gap needs, then you need to see, how do I put it into action? So now that you know what you need to do, you need to ask yourself this. If this was easy, what would it look like? And leveraging the same example above, if we're talking about you trying to earn an extra $164 a day, can you do this? These, once again, just quick little easy ways that maybe you could think outside the box. Can you pay someone $30 an hour to generate you $100 an hour? Can you purchase software or marketing which enables the opportunity for $164 to be available without you doing any work? Meaning, can you market or use software to sell something that brings in that money? Can you sell products for less to increase volume? Can you spend your time differently? Can you batch your time 20% of your week to create 80% of the required work? meaning work 8 hours one day focus rather than spending different time or shorter time across 5 days across the week? Can you niche down to the sales which generate the highest dollar and focus on them? So do less work, meaning use those and sell more of those. Again, these are all examples, but when we remove the old ways of thinking, when we remove, things that we've always been doing and look outside of the box or try new things, we create a space for you to think different. We enable ourselves to open up our minds to try new things and to be, given new opportunity. And when we begin to open up our mindset for something different, we begin to change the narrative and the story to help you unlock your potential. And I'm going to finish again with this. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you've always got, from Henry Ford. And I think this one has really stuck with me over the last couple of weeks so much, is because now I can challenge myself more in the sense of, when things aren't going my way, can I look back and say, am I doing things that I've always done? Because if you keep doing the same thing, you can't expect a different result. But if you're doing something that you've done before and you're tweaking it, you're adjusting it and trying something new, well then technically you should get a different result. It'll either be better, be worse. It might be the same, but you'll have a different experience doing it. So that's my big challenge for you, mindsets. It's a lot to take in. It can be quite confronting to think, oh no, that's not me, or oh yeah, I do lots of this, and you think you might be better in one area and you're not in the other. And that's okay, because none of us are perfect. And the idea around mindset is being open to having an open mindset, being willing to learn, being willing to be corrected, being willing to try something new. And that's my big encouragement for you today. Really do appreciate you being here. If you did enjoy this episode, I would encourage you, send it to someone. Share the episode with someone that you think could resonate with this. If you do want to reach out to me, you can hit me up on the socials. Otherwise, if you are watching this on the YouTube, you can drop a comment down below. Otherwise, you have a wonderful day. Cheers. Now, if you didn't know, we do have the podcast merch, and this is with a key focus of enamel pins. Now, if you haven't checked these out, make sure you do, because the intent of these are really just to be a small token and a reminder for you to charge on, to push on, and to further your lifestyle. Whether it is a gift for someone else to encourage them, or maybe to inspire them, or maybe it's a way to motivate yourself, or you can simply just make a purchase to simply support the podcast, which would be greatly appreciated. We do also have some sweaters and some long tees, so make sure you check it out. Link in the description and in the show notes. Really do appreciate it. Cheers.